Concacaf Champions Cup. We are into the second leg of the semifinals. We got two Mexican League teams battling it out in the other side. But we got two MLS teams that we're going to really focus on. We have Vancouver, who are up 2-0, who a really good performance over Inter Miami in leg one. Brian White, I thought, scored a great header. Sebastian Berhalter scored again. That guy is on fire. And I just want to give a shout. Almost, again, we're giving flowers to this particular episode. Jesper Sorensen has come in, took over for Vanni Sartini, who got the Vancouver Whitecaps. A bit of a surprise they let him go, but I thought Sorensen, or has been, I don't know if they thought, I think that he's done an excellent job of just kind of building upon what Sartini put in place. And to do it despite having some injuries, Ryan Gauld in particular, has been really impressive for the Whitecaps, both not only in the Concacaf Champions Cup, but also in MLS. And so I don't know which one of you wants to kind of dive into Vancouver a little bit more. Big Tones, I'm going to go to you. What has made them a little bit different? Are you seeing something tactical that's different from Sartini to Sorensen as a coach? Is it just the players being ready to take on more responsibility and just playing a little bit better? Berhalter in particular, who I think is being asked to join the attack a lot more and more consistently, and has scored some big goals in both of these competitions. What say you about these exciting Whitecaps? They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they are fun. They were fun under Vanni Sartini as well. They were maybe just a little bit reckless in the way that they went about their business, throwing everybody forward. But Kubas has been excellent in the middle of the field. Vite is probably the most underrated midfielder in Major League Soccer, maybe because he plays up in Vancouver. He has grown into an incredible midfielder in this league. Sebastian Berhalter, we've seen his growth start to happen. Remember, under Vanni Sartini, he played a lot at right back, right? They were decimated at right back. He played a lot of right back there. Brian White is scoring goals. Ali Ahmed is a really solid winger, taking players on. They've brought in guys like Manuel Sabi and from Salt Lake, experience plays them. Damir Kreilach, guys like that have come in and have been just steady players. And, you know, I called the games on the weekend. I've had Vancouver twice, and we get the chance to talk to managers prior to the game. Sorensen is really, really impressive in the way that he breaks the game down and how simple he's been for this team. And you could see he's a player's kind of coach. You could see that players would enjoy playing for him. And you're right, man, because they're missing Ryan Gauld, who I think I've always said to myself, like, if I ever had a chance, he'd be the first guy to go after in the league. I love the way he plays. I love his energy. He got hurt. He's got that knee injury. It's kept him out now a little bit. Or it might be the back of the knee calf that he had. But he's a big miss, and they haven't missed a beat, man. So good on Jesper Sorensen. They've been a fun team to watch.
Now, Chuck, I want to give you a Jesper Sorensen quote when he first took over the job. He was at Brøndby in the Danish Super League, where he had them competing at a high level. He comes over to MLS, and what I appreciated about him was this quote in particular. He said, "I'm not here to make a revolution, because I could see there was a great job done so far." So a shout out to Sartini there. "But make an evolution to try and make some adjustments so we can get better from actually a very good starting point. I can see a lot of good players with good mentality and playing with a strong heart for the club, and that's good to see." And so I appreciate that he's meeting the players and the club where they are, as opposed to being like, "Oh, well, I know more about everything." And I've just been really impressed with his approach. And then conversely, how quickly the players have adopted that approach, and the buy-in seems complete with every player on the roster.
It's important to have a coach that can galvanize a locker room. Guys respect that coach. I know that Brøndby is always a team that plays football in Denmark. So I think when he came into the league, you have to, one, adjust to the athleticism across Major League Soccer. So I think that maybe poses a challenge for a lot of foreigners that come to MLS. But what he's done extremely well, look at this run in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's been incredible because they're scoring goals. They're defending as a team, but they're so good in transition. And I think that's what separates them, is they're pretty direct. They're not in the game to keep possession and dominate possession and pin you back. They're organized and this is where you get a lot of the Danish coaches in playing in the Superliga. All their teams are super organized. You'll have some that maybe throw a few more forward than others, but they're all organized in transition. When they lose the ball, they all get back. And so what I love about Vancouver is when they do win the ball to go forward, they go forward and they don't hesitate, and they have an identity. Brian White, he knows exactly where he needs to be. The guys know exactly what type of runs he likes to make, and he's been clinical. So that's been the difference right now is you look at Inter Miami, they just weren't clinical in that first leg, and Vancouver was. And so it gave them a real good shot to advance. I don't know if Inter Miami is going to be able to score 2 more goals than Vancouver, because Vancouver will get after them. I'll tell you that right now. Miami does leave themselves vulnerable because guys get forward. You have some guys that don't defend once the ball gets by them. And so Vancouver is a heavy favorite, in my opinion, going into this second leg. Even though Miami will be better at home, I know Vancouver will be heavy favorites.
I think what's interesting, too, is they're on top of the Western Conference in MLS, 20 goals for, 7 against. It's been really impressive in terms of how they've established their identity. And so that's an MLS side of things. When I look at their road through the Concacaf Champions Cup, listen, they beat Saprissa, which is not easy, right? The Costa Rican team. Then after them, they play in the round of 16. They have to play Monterrey, and they get a 2-2 result down in Mexico. It was 1-1 in leg 1, so they go through on away goals. Then they take on Pumas, again, 1-1 at home, 2-2 away from home. They were down. They fought their way back. And now, they find themselves up 2-0 against an Inter Miami team that at home especially are very, very good. And I just don't see them getting beat. I fully expect Vancouver to get to the final. And so given how well, and Tony, I want to get your thoughts on this. Sebastian Berhalter has scored 3 goals in his past 5 matches, and I feel like has been a real big catalyst for that midfield. Do you think he's done well enough to warrant some consideration from I almost said Greg Berhalter, not from his dad. I'm sure he's getting all the praise and plaudits from his dad, but from Mauricio Pochettino to maybe get a look at the Gold Cup? Is that if he continues this form?
Yeah, Jimmy, let me just add this real quick on this series, right? Keep in mind, to Charlie's point, can Miami catch up 2 goals? I think one of the other questions we should ask is, can Miami keep Vancouver from scoring away from home? Because in CONCACAF Champions Cup, away goals still mean something, right? So, you're gonna have to make up 2 goals, and then with this leaky Inter Miami defense, you're gonna have to keep them from scoring as well, right? So that's another consideration. To Berhalter, if you're going to put together right now, I can't remember, is Gold Cup the 45-man roster or a 60-man roster? Either way, I think if you're going to put it together right now, and we think there's not going to be everybody available, I think we could see Sebastian Berhalter's name on that preliminary roster. Does he get called in for a Gold Cup? I'm not quite sure. But I would think, again, when U.S. Soccer has to submit that roster, I would not be surprised if his name's on there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
He's been playing extremely well. I mean, I covered him in college when he was at University of North Carolina. And I remember seeing him, small, but super good on the ball technically, kind of what you would expect if your father's the head coach of the national team. But from then to now, it's been a remarkable growth. And think about some of the moves he's made within MLS to finally end up in Vancouver and come out of his own shell. And he's not under anyone's shadow. He's out being himself, playing freely. And I couldn't be happier to see him start to thrive.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, we have a couple exciting months coming up for our player pool, both for club and country. We'll see how our players finish up in Europe, of course, and then we're going to see how the domestic players get on in multiple competitions, and FIFA Club World Cup's coming and Gold Cup. It's all kicking off. It's very exciting. You're still here? Yes! I absolutely love that. Listen, while I have your attention, if you want more average to good soccer content, this is the channel for you. Go check out our other videos. Go check out our playlists. And if you're really liking what you're seeing, I don't know how you couldn't, hit like, hit subscribe, of course, and then turn on your notifications so that you do not miss anything that we drop or when we go live. We'd really appreciate that. We'll see you next time.